welcome back. We'll continue with our series on punctuation marks in SpeakWrite with Sid, episode 18. My name is Siddharth Sathe and you're watching phoenixdreams. First and foremost, here's wishing my fellow Indians a very, very happy 74th Independence Day. Now, we'll move on to the last two punctuation marks, and there are a few symbols that we'll talk about as well. But the punctuation marks we're going to talk about today are the brackets or the parentheses or braces, whatever you want to call them, and we'll see the difference in that as well, and the quotation marks. So, talking about brackets first. Now, brackets are used when you want to clarify something or explain something further or give definition of something, of a word or a phrase which you are using in your communication, especially while writing, and you want to give further information that might distract a person, but you want that to be there. So you put it inside a bracket to ensure that it is clear as to who you're talking about, especially if the word that you're using can be confused with something else or might not be very, very clear or might be difficult in meaning. So if you're talking about one particular Mr. Sathe, you might write in the bracket, if you talk about me and not my father, you'd mention, or not my son. The middle one is what you would write. So it clarifies what you're trying to say, the bracket. Now, mathematically also the bracket plays a very, very important part, and that is where different kinds of brackets come into use based on their shapes. Especially when within a specific equation you want to make groups of different things which are in the same equation, you use them in different shapes, and they are called differently depending on the shape that they are in. The normal curved one is called a bracket. If it is a square bracket, it is called parentheses, and if it's the curly bracket, they're known as braces. So brackets can be used in language as well as in mathematics. In language, like I said, to clarify, to make sure that the person you're speaking to or communicating with understands what specifically you're talking about, right? So that's brackets, parentheses, and braces. The second punctuation mark we're going to talk about today are the quotation marks. And the quotation marks, as the name suggests, are used when you are quoting somebody else, when you are communicating with one person and you want to tell them what someone else said. There are two ways of saying it. Now, if I'm telling you that person isn't coming, I can tell you that, yeah, he told me he isn't coming. Or I can quote him. I can give you his exact words. And when I do that is when I use quotation marks. So I would say, he told me, I put a comma there, I'll take a pause, and then his exact words begin. So he told me, I'm not coming. So I'm quoting somebody else. When I'm quoting somebody else in his or her own words, I use quotation marks. Right? Quotation marks have a shape which is similar to a comma, but they are upwards like the apostrophe, and the curvature changes. So if the quotation mark is at the beginning of the quote, it is towards the letter with which the sentence or the word begins, and at the end it is again bending or curving towards the last letter in the word or the phrase. So they are double and they are on the top. And if you've seen people doing this, people use this in body language quite often. When they are quoting somebody, they use this. He said, I don't like you. Right? So I'm quoting somebody, and to make it very, very clear that I'm quoting somebody else, I even use my hands to show quotation marks. So quotation marks are these days not just in written communication, they are used in body language or face-to-face communication as well. You can also use single quotation marks if there are two quotes within one sentence. So if you are telling somebody what someone quoted to you, and within that quote there is another quote, then the first quote would be a double quotation mark, and the quote within that would be a single quotation mark. He told me, I spoke to Bill, and Bill said to me, I'm not coming. So I have this he who I'm quoting, and this he is quoting Bill. So there are two quotation marks there. The first one will be double quotation mark, and the second one will be a single quotation mark, right? So that more or less rounds up the punctuation marks. There's also one symbol that you might want to think about and look at, and that is a symbol for and. So quite a few times, instead of using the word and spelled A and D, you'd use a symbol for it, which is and ampersand. It is also known as an ampersand, ampersand. That is often used if you want to avoid usage of multiple ands, you would use the ampersand. So if you're talking about two pairs of something and you're saying that, so another couple and me and my wife. So I wouldn't say another couple and me and my wife. I would say another couple and A and D, me ampersand my wife. So to avoid usage of and multiple times, you can replace some of those ands with the ampersand, which is a symbol for and, especially when you're making a list or when you're putting groups together, right? Yes, so that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your viewership. Please continue to like, share and subscribe to our channel. And if you really do like what you see, please share. Until next time, thank you very much.